Yeah, you're right, Elaine. Those talks have wrapped up for the day. Very condensed afternoon here in Washington. Basically, they've just wrapped up dinner at the Metropolitan Club, very exclusive club just up the street from here. Before that, about an hour and 20 minutes of talks between Yuhe and his delegation and Robert Lighthizer, the U.S. Trade Representative, Steve Mnuchin, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, and others from the U.S. delegation just across the street from here. No real comments after the talks, but before the talks, Yuhe spoke to some Chinese journalists, including our colleague Wang Guan. This is what he had to say.
I came here with good faith and sincerity. Under the current circumstances, we hope to exchange views with our U.S. counterparts in a rational, candid manner. China believes additional tariffs are not the way to solve the problem. It would be bad for China, bad for the U.S., and bad for the world. China wants to solve the problem in a principled manner. Cooperation is the only way out. I came here under pressure. I came because we want to show our utmost sincerity and good faith. I am hopeful that we can resolve our differences in a candid, confident, rational manner.
You heard there, I came here under pressure. More tariffs won't be good for the American or the Chinese people. But that's the reality we're facing, Elaine, this hour. In about 2.5 hours after U.S. President did a kind of 180 over the weekend, pointing the finger at what they call Chinese backtracking. Essentially, they are now upping the tariffs from 10% on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports to 25% at 12:01 Friday morning here in the U.S. That is, as I said, just less than 2.5 hours away. China has said they would respond in kind, but the talks are still going on. In fact, they're due to resume in about 12 hours' time here in Washington, with, one would expect, those tariffs to be up. Now, could we see a deal? U.S. President Trump has been a little bit more sanguine. Let's take a listen.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I did get last night a very beautiful letter from President Xi. Let's work together. Let's see if we can get something done.
So he's holding out the prospect of a deal. He also mentioned there that there's a potential for a phone call between himself and President Xi Jinping. At this stage, perhaps it's the leaders who can decide if this moves forward. I have no information yet on whether that call has happened or any readout from the call, but the talks do resume in about 12 hours' time, and without an intervention by the president, those tariffs are going to go up in the meantime.
Yeah, and speculating here, Nathan, if those tariffs do go through at midnight and they continue talking in the morning, it would be interesting to see how that changes the mood of those talks Friday morning.
Yeah, I don't think you're speculating at all, Elaine, because it's only 2.5 hours away. I think, that is the most likely probability at this hour. And of course, it will put another cloud over these talks. Remember, there were 10 rounds of negotiations for this one. This is round 11. And a lot of expectations that this would be the final round. There was even talk of a summit between the two presidents to sign something. But we are not there yet. The Americans only 10 days ago were saying we're 95% of the way there. Now, this happens all the time in negotiations. Think of the Paris climate talks, think of the Iran nuclear deal, always going down to the wire. And with so much at stake with the two biggest economies, you could hope for a last-minute breakthrough. But the language coming out of the White House has not convinced us that's necessary. So what happens after Friday? Well, we'll wait and see. But if the tariffs go up at midnight, expect China to respond as well. And if there's not a breakthrough, then basically the trade war has resumed.
All right, White House correspondent Nathan King, thank you for that.